I got my best friend's boyfriend to break up with her. Am I a hater for that? Disclaimer, this is not my story time. My best friend is pretty much the girl every guy wants to be with, and every girl wants to be like. Her and I met in the 2nd grade, and we're now 22 years old. We've known each other our entire lives. Growing up, she was definitely the prettier one, and the boys definitely let us know that. She was the one getting asked out, always getting hit on, always being chased by boys, and I, on the other hand, barely got any attention from guys. I know that this created a huge problem for me, even though I never voiced it to her. I became insanely jealous every time she got a boyfriend, and worse, every time she went on a date. From the time we turned 15, she was basically going on a date every single weekend. Oh yeah, and she had the perfect parents too. They trusted her so much because she got really good grades in school, so they decided to buy her a car when she was 16. My parents, on the other hand, didn't trust me for shit. I couldn't do anything by myself. They didn't give me a car actually ever. I bought my first car when I was 19. Her and I were also just very different people. She loved being around people. She was voted most likely to succeed, and she loved theater and she was always cast in the best parts. I was more of a shy girl. I didn't like talking to guys, and if anybody ever hit on me, I always assumed that it was just like a bet or that they were trying to play me. Mostly because why would they look at me when she's standing right next to me? Now, don't get me wrong. Her and I actually have a great relationship. She comes to me whenever she has boy trouble, and I try to give her my best advice. I was also very protective of her. Girls were always jealous of her and trying to do something, and I constantly had her back. She could always come to me whenever she had a problem, and I would always be there. During prom, a girl tried to ruin her dress, so I beat her up. That's the kind of friend I was. Even though, yes, I was jealous and sometimes envious. We went to the same community college, and this is when things got bad. She started dating a new guy, and I hated him. He manipulated her at every turn, and she could never see it. So I did what I had to do to break them up. Part 2 is up. I manipulated my best friend's boyfriend to break up with her. Am I a hater? Disclaimer, this is not my story time. Here are all the reasons why I hated him. He was a good boyfriend. He loved her. He procured her. He was protective and sometimes even possessive, but in a good way. The kind of possessive that every girl wants her boyfriend to be. He wasn't jealous. He wasn't envious. And he always took care of her. No matter where he was always thinking about her. He would text her good morning text, check up on her during the day, and call her after classes every day. At this time, her and I were both still living at home, even though we were going to college. And her boyfriend would drive 45 minutes out of his way just to go drop off some ice cream if she had her period. He was tall, dark, and handsome. He was the boy every girl wanted in class. And her and I know this because once they started dating, 4 different girls came up to my best friend and told her how lucky she was to be with him because he didn't get with just any girl. He waited for the perfect girl to come around, and that was my bestie. But here's what I hate even more. I loved hanging out with them. They made me look forward to possibly meeting someone who would love me the same. He gave me hope that there were other men like him. One day, one of his best friends asked me out, and it was my lucky day. We went out to dinner and he kissed me. I actually fell in love with this guy. I had never gotten so much male attention before, but then he ghosted me. My anger began to poison me inside, and suddenly I knew I needed to break them up, because if I wasn't going to be happy, neither could they. I started silencing her phone so that when he texted or called, she wouldn't answer. And this made him angry right away. I also planted a seed, the jealousy seed. I told her that a guy asked her out and she said yes. This made him even angrier. He didn't even bother to ask her if it was true. He just assumed that I was telling him the truth. After a couple of weeks, he stopped calling her. She started crying, and it made me happy, eventually leading to them breaking up. Am I terrible? Yes or yes?
I made a comment to my ex-husband when we signed our divorce papers, and his girlfriend now accuses me of being the reason he didn't propose to her on Christmas. My ex-husband and I are both late 40s. We're a real love story for 17 years. He was my world, and I loved everything about him. I thought he loved me too, but about 2 years ago, for about 2 months, he was changed. That change was so palpable that I knew in my heart that it was another woman. He stopped kissing me good morning or good night, stopped asking me on dates, and always declined when I did. He didn't doze off with his head in my lap to a movie every evening, always missing the end. Now he sat on the other couch. He stopped saying he loved me, and he stopped texting me during the day. I didn't know what to do other than wait and see, and sure enough, after 2 months, he told me that he was in love and wanted a divorce. I was heartbroken, but I couldn't do anything about it. I would never beg someone to love me no matter how much I loved them. He moved out and started the divorce process. His new girlfriend, early 30s, moved in with him not long after. My ex-husband is very successful, and our divorce was finalized a couple of weeks ago. I haven't seen my ex-husband much since he moved out. I don't know what's gotten into me. I have kept civil and prideful during the separation. I was surprised that he was with his lawyer because I thought he just signed and didn't need to be there. I signed and then looked at him for the first time in 2 years, and just without giving myself the time to stop and keep my dignity, I smiled and said that he now lost the last woman who he would know for sure ever loved and saw him for him and not for his money or assets. He was too smiling at first, probably relieved that I finally was fine enough to look at him again. He complained to our son that I never looked at him anymore. His smile faltered and turned into a shock. Then he started crying. I was terrified of what I just did and left almost running. I got a text from his girlfriend this morning with many insults about me, my character, and my looks and age. Because he was supposed to have proposed on Christmas with all the family present, but he didn't. He now refuses to talk about it with her or any of her family, but she means that it was my fault. I've ruined their relationship. I blocked her, but I can't help but wonder if I really did ruin their relationship. I even wondered if I care. All I know is that he looks so old and pathetic. I wonder if I ever really knew him or loved him. Wow. I aspire to be this common life. You were able to obliterate your husband with a smile and without saying one bad thing. Kudos to you.
Am I the asshole for asking my ex-husband for his sperm? My ex and I were married for 8 years. We got married at 22 and I got pregnant at 30. Then I discovered that he was being unfaithful to me with a coworker while I was pregnant, so I asked for a divorce. He seemed quite remorseful and he didn't want a divorce, especially for our daughter. We share custody and he pays support. My ex-husband is very attached to my daughter. He has the right to see her 2 times a month, but I let him see her whenever he wants. So he comes to my house about 3 or 4 times a week to see my daughter. My ex wanted us to try a relationship again, but I said no. Now, 2 years after our divorce, I want another baby. I don't have a partner and I don't want just anyone to be the father of my baby. So I asked my ex-husband to give me his sperm so I could get pregnant again. I made it very clear to him that he did not have to pay child support for the new child. He simply has to be a sperm donor. He accepted and even said that he wanted to take care of the baby if I became pregnant. I told my mother about my plans and she called me an idiot. Since, according to her, I am, quote, giving my ex-husband wings that we could be together in the future. My mother told several of my family, and I've been getting a lot of harassing messages about how I'm an idiot. Several of my family were against the divorce, saying that anyone can make a mistake, like the one my ex-husband did. Am I the asshole for asking for my ex-husband's sperm?
I, 35 female, discovered my husband, 38 male, infidelity and his double life thanks to a post on Facebook.
Would always be Facebook.
Always Facebook. My husband and I have been married for 10 years and have 2 children together. He travels often. I also want to say that about 8 months ago, I discovered that I was infected with an incurable STD. He blamed me for this, saying that I was the unfaithful one. I was browsing Facebook in a mother's group. In that group, it is a group where mothers ask for help with children, ask for donations, share experiences, memes, etc. In that group, a mother shared that she would give her husband a laxative tea so that he wouldn't go to a soccer game the next day. It was all mockery and laughter in the comments of the post and telling her to update the result. I am a person who likes to read comments, and while reading comments, I unfortunately saw a profile that had a photo of a woman with my husband in it.
What the fuck?
Apparently, they got married civilly. My husband created another profile, but it has a different name and surname.
Oh.
They have a child. I think that child has his false last name because she uploaded a post where she went to register the child's birth certificate and placed the full name there as if she was proud of it. I posted in the same group, now that they have the option to post anonymously, and several gave me advice, and we deduced that possibly the other woman did not know because of what she shared on her profile. I wrote to her and was surprised that that bitch did know that he was married. They have been married for 2 years and their baby is approximately 14 months old. But they're not technically married because we never got a divorce. Their marriage is not valid. I have hired a lawyer and I took all the evidence and I am in the divorce process. Since when I complained he preferred her, he left the house to live with her. Besides this,
Jesus.
he refuses to give alimony, claiming that he has another child to to support. And that if he has to give alimony to my children, he will seek to give the minimum payment, even if he has to quit his job.
What a deadbeat,
my
bro.
God.
How do I proceed with my life? I feel like I'm very limited in rebuilding my life because of the STD he has given me and being a single mother.
I mean, if you're going through the process, I would imagine the judge is going to side with you with all of the evidence provided.
Yo, if I was the other woman in that situation too, like, what makes you think that he's not going to do the same thing to you now that your marriage is not legal? He can fuck around and get another girl pregnant and can ditch you on the side as well. Like, both women should just leave this person.
Am I the asshole for embarrassing my fat friend for thinking she has a chance with me?
Yeah, I think you're the asshole for just the
just
way you
writing
wrote that.
that
Yeah, what
alone.
I, male 21, have been friends with this girl, female 19, for some time. Let's call her Tina. Tina has a good looking face, but she's kind of overweight, about 5'3" and 145 pounds-ish. We have known each other for some time, and she's really sweet and funny. She says I'm one of her closest friends, and I feel the same way about her. I'm a naturally flirty guy. I make jokes, and I'm physical, as in holding hands, arm around shoulder, etc. with most people. Tina, being my best friend for almost 2 years, experienced this a lot. We had a phase for 2 months where she got busy with college stuff, and after we caught up, we went on a road trip for a week, and since it was just the two of us, we got to spend a lot of time together, and I may have come across as interested in her.
Taking a fucking solo road trip for a week, in addition to all the hand holding, arm around her,
flirting.
She might think I like her.
So after returning, we were closer than ever, texting daily, going out every weekend, and ending the night at my place. Recently, it was one of those weekends, and I called my friend over when she was there to play video games and all that. Now, Tina is normally very shy, but I guess she opened up enough around me to make jokes about how I like her, but just won't say it. The timing was terrible. I suddenly got very surprised because I didn't feel that way at all. I started stuttering and basically tried to explain that I didn't like her. When she tried to save face by asking why, it just slipped out of me and I said, I mean, look at you.
Boy!
My friend started laughing and I thought it must be all in good fun, but Tina wouldn't let it go. She made a joke about mixed signals, but I really didn't want her to get the wrong impression. I squeezed her cheeks and told her that she was chubby and that is objectively unattractive, so if she lost a few pounds, maybe she'd have a chance.
What the f is wrong with you?
Now, I said this all in a very casual way, and me and Tina make jokes like this, calling each other ugly all the time. My friend interjected about how it's always the girls you don't want who think you're making a move on them, but never the good ones.
Yeet! Yeet all of them!
Tina started mumbling something about how she had some work due and just stormed out of the main door late at night. My boys shouted after her, calling her a drama queen and all that, but I guess that just made things worse. Long story short, the next morning I chased Tina down and hugged her and everything, yet she still seems stoic but awkward. She wouldn't talk to me like normal and said that everything's fine, but clearly it wasn't. I don't want to lose her. Afterwards, I went to another friends of mine asking for advice on how to woo Tina back.
Woo her back?
Yeah, what a way to phrase it after you said you didn't want her. This said friend freaked out and called me a huge asshole for hurting Tina's feelings. I told her I thought Tina could handle honesty as she always seems so chill in the past, but this friend told me I didn't understand girls at all. She said I made fun of Tina and I should apologize to her, but I don't think I did anything wrong. I was just being honest. So am I the asshole?
Absolutely.
Yes. Not only you don't understand girls, you don't understand people. You have zero people skills. Get new friends. Don't try to win her back. Stay away from her.
Yeah. Am I the asshole for asking my wife to think about the long-term implications of her birth plan?
Not wrong to bring up any concerns, but I sure hope you're not trying to mansplain how childbirth works to a woman.
Throwaway because my friends know my main. I know dudes get ripped in here for posting their opinions about birth, but I think this is an important opportunity for my wife, and I'm posting it because I believe the situation is nuanced and she's not hearing me out. I, 34 male, wife, Beth, 28 female, is 33 weeks pregnant. We're both very ready for this baby to come. My mom is super hands-on with my entire family. My two brothers' wives are very close with her, but Beth has just never really clicked the way the other two did.
This is bad. My mom said, you're not listening
You
to
gotta
my
listen
mother.
to my mom.
I'd be lying if I said it didn't bother me that my wife seemed disinterested in getting closer to my mom and sister-in-laws. For all 5 of the births of my sister-in-laws and my mother's 3 births, they were all unmedicated. It's clearly a point of pride for all of them to have done it naturally.
Oh, brother.
My mom said that she chose to do it because she didn't want me and my brothers born doped up and wanted to experience the full spectrum of becoming a mother. Beth, on the other hand, is very fearful of birth and has talked to our doctor about being medicated. I don't love the idea of the mother of my child being loopy and out of it at such a critical moment, but those concerns fell on deaf ears when I raised them. I felt very excluded during the discussion around pain management, and neither Beth nor our doctor were receptive to my ideas because you're not the one who has to go through the pain. Holy shit.
You're not going to feel any pain.
My mom was asking me about our birth plan the other day, and I don't know why I did this, but I just sort of panicked and told her that Beth was going for the all-natural way, like she and my sister-in-laws have. To say my mom freaked out with happiness is an understatement. She was thrilled that Beth was open to experiencing the full range of motherhood. And this might sound crazy, but I think if Beth shared this rite of passage with my mom and sister-in-law, they might finally gel.
I hate that. The mother's gonna think she's gonna be less of a mother because she wanted to get medicated. That's such a stupid way of thinking.
I told Beth about my slip-up to see if she'd be open to changing her mind, giving how this could serve as a bonding experience for them to share. And she lost her mind. She yelled about how she wasn't going to compete with my mom and sister-in-laws during her birth. She emphasized that it was her birth again and again, which I don't think is fair because it will be an experience we both go through, just differently.
Very differently.
I was just trying to get her to see that there was an opportunity for her to create some sisterhood with the women of my family. I wasn't dictating or even pressuring her. I just thought that she would want to know how happy it made my mom.
I wasn't dictating or like saying anything. Like you very much did. You very much lied to your mother. And I don't think it was a panic move. I think it was calculated, strategic.
She told me that she didn't give a fuck about sisterhood, which was very intense because Beth does not swear. I wasn't trying to upset her. I just think she would be wise to see the future potential long-term implications of not having this experience with my mom and sister-in-laws. But Beth has been furious to the point of not speaking to me for several days, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm in the wrong, even if I was trying to help. So am I the asshole?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Again, when women say like, hey, I want to go through a specific way of childbirth, if they want to go natural birth because they want to, that's their prerogative, right? If they want to get epidural to make their experience more bearable, by all means do it. So yeah, you're a complete asshole, dude.
Am I the asshole for demanding that my girlfriend clear out her escape bank account?
Y'all aren't even married. She could do whatever the f she wants.
I, 50 male, make a very good income as a software developer. I came from a very poor background and had a rough start to my early adult years, so I consider myself self-made and very prudent with my finances. I work in a managerial position in a large company and make $200,000 a year.
That would be nice. Would love that for me.
Add that to a good freelance client base, and I make enough to provide for myself, my girlfriend, 45 female, and our daughter, 17 female. However, because I came from so little and worked hard, I am prudent about my finances. I have developed strict financial values in that I believe you can be frugal and generous at the same time. I felt like there was no need to marry. I loved my girlfriend and promised that if we broke up, I would be generous and would give her a fair settlement, which I'd determine at the time of breakup. That's like a terrible idea.
It's like you would want to have that in writing before emotions get fully into it. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know.
The situation now is that I think my girlfriend is feeling empty nest anxiety. She is middle-aged too, so a bit of midlife lack of adjustment as well. Because our daughter is mildly autistic, we felt it best that my girlfriend quit her marketing job and become a stay-at-home mother. However, around 3 years ago, my girlfriend became upset because I felt like I turned out so well because I had to fight to be able to eat when I was in college. It made me value my education more, so my policy is that when my daughter goes to college next year, her schooling will be paid for by loans and scholarships that she'll have to get for herself, and then I'd give her a total nest egg of $1,000 and she can use it however she wants to for the duration of her 4 years of college.
$1,000 for 4 years?
You're just strapping your daughter with $50,000 worth of debt? Crazy. My girlfriend is upset because she says that my daughter will be taking on a lot of debt, but I think you need skin in the game. Around that time, my girlfriend started taking on odd jobs, babysitting and cleaning the homes of neighbors. She'd be putting the money in our accounts, so I thought that was it. However, my girlfriend fell asleep yesterday afternoon and forgot to put away this notepad, which had the grocery list in the front, but when you got into it, it also showed a to-do list and just her jotting out plans. I found out that she has around $1,900 in what she calls an emergency escape fund and jotted down a reminder to withdraw some of it to put into our daughter's tampon box. To say I was furious is an understatement. After all these years sharing my money with her and supporting her, I could not believe she was just labeling me as untrustworthy and hiding money from me. I admit I did some further snooping and was able to log into her account. I screenshotted it and confronted her, saying that she lied to me and made this ugly, so here's my demand. She either apologizes by moving the money to our shared bank account and closes it, or she needs to think about where she'd live the moment our daughter goes off to college and turns 18.
This is why she has an escape fund, brother.
To get away from your bitch ass.
And that if my daughter was complicit in stealing from me, it would come out of her college fund.
Ooh, $1,000? Oh no.
So am I the asshole for feeling betrayed?
Yeah. For the wife to label that as an escape fund, for me, I'm feeling that there's more to the story than financial abuse, in my opinion.
Yeah, the fact that she worded it escape fund.
I think there's way more than he's not disclosing in this situation. That's giving me major ick.